Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd put up a video today. Didn't get a chance to load up another one last week, but hopefully life will be settling down a bit. I have been watching videos, however. Not always having a chance to comment on everyone, but just I am still here and I am watching. Just let everybody know. Real quick on a topic, I watched Mary Grace Farron, and she had recently done a video about basically I think it was about the year ahead spread, which I still have to do that because I do like to do a year ahead spread. I'm not always diligent about looking at it and saying, oh yeah, that was the card. I'm going to be honest. That's probably a good thing after listening to Mary Grace. But I guess it's just how I enjoyed watching the video in which she was talking about it and saying that she just wanted to live life. And when she had done the journaling and the year ahead spread, that every time the month was coming, she would look at that card, and I guess it brings up the question about how everyone uses tarot, if you can use it as predictive, or if you're using it for some sort of inner shadow work or personal growth, and I did kind of giggle when she said, you know, these things are predictive, whether you want to look at that way or not. And I absolutely believe that. That was one of the major reasons I had stopped reading tarot for many years. Really just getting recently back into it, probably about 3 years ago. And that was because I did a reading for a family member about a trip that was coming up, a holiday for their family, and basically I just saw a bunch of stuff happening before that, and the whole thing came in about whether it got the different twist on it though. Did I predict it or did I cause it? So and that kind of freaked me out, and that's why I stopped doing tarot, because I was like, did I? Which I don't. I have now realized that I didn't. But is it predictive? Yes. And I guess that just goes into when you're going to read for others, which I really don't read for others. Since that time, I just, like I said, got back to really just doing reading for me, because I've been away from the tarot now for so long, that then to find that I missed it. But whether I would read for someone else, I think there's a lot of ethics and a lot of soul searching that you have to do if you're going to read for other people. And it just made me think of Mary Grace talking about, you know, what does that entail? What is your responsibility if you really truly believe tarot is predictive and can be predictive? And I realize there are people that come to tarot readers who actually need help, and I do believe it is a tool. So because I'm personally, I like tarot because yeah, I can get an idea of what's going on. And does that mean, it may mean that, because I'm also a witch. So when you look at yourself, if you don't consider yourself a witch, or you're not involved with spell work, then you come at the tarot, I think, in a different way. If I didn't have my mystical background and training, and I got a reading and it said this is going to happen, then I think I could fall into exactly that happening. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I think they're predictive, but I think there is a way in which the only thing I can, I guess, do a good analogy about it. Okay, the flood's coming. Do you want to know it's coming and get the information it's coming, and like Noah, prepare? And so you build your ark and your comfort, and you know it's coming. You can't stop it from coming, because that's life. We can't control everything, but we can control certain aspects of it. And I think that's where I approach tarot, and that's where I incorporate my magic in tarot. Um, if I see something bad is going on or going to be going on, then I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what I need to do. I need to do this. I need to focus on that. I need to, a lot of my spell work involves journaling now, but not all. I mean, I will use herbs and I will use candle magic, and if I see something coming, I want to support myself. I may not be able to change it, but I'm also under the belief that, yeah, I can. it, Magic is very difficult because all the time you're battling with your conscious, your subconscious, like this. Anything that will ruin a spell is your doubt. And you have to have faith that it's going to work. So the success of a spell really depends on your mindset and your belief and how much you believe it's going to work. If you don't believe it's going to work and you're always doubting it and questioning it, and that's why it's so good to mold it be, let it go. You need to really let go. When you surrender anything, and I have done this, quick magic to me too, is when I have a situation come up, many times in my life there would be changes. I could see there was a big change in my career and I had no idea what I was going to do, how I was going to, I could see a job was ending and what am I supposed to do? Where am I going? I need this. I need these certain hours. My kids are small. I need a job that can do this. And this even comes down to moving, finding a place to live, last minute, it's everything. I find that when I put out my intent, whether it's using spell work, using a candle, or just writing it in a journal, in my very early stages of magic, I had something that I called, before I started getting into actual witchcraft practices and finding what was this that I was drawn to. I did a lot of things and didn't know what I was doing as far as labeling as witchcraft. And then after I found a book, Dorothy Morrison's The Craft, and read that book, I'm like, that's what that was. Even down to I think I shared how I heard a voice about getting rid of a bully when I was like 12, 13 years old, and being raised in a Catholic family. I never would have known that, but I was guided to do my first spell following directions that I heard. And is it a clear voice? It's kind of hard to explain. It's not really a voice, but it's inside. It's like in your head, and you're getting directions. And I can't, unless you've had it happen to you or experience that kind of thing, I can't really explain it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is you can change things. It requires a crap load of focus, and you got to believe it. That's why they always say start off simple, because that's half the battle. You could absolutely manifest anything huge in your life, and I've manifested cars within 24 hours of my dream car, and that's because I was so focused. But I did a lot before that. It became a ritual of how I focused on, I wanted this car, I wanted this car, I love this car, and I incorporated it into every aspect of my life. As far as thinking about it, being excited that I was going to get it, even though, and that's the other thing, having it before you have it, feeling that feeling, it's I mean, I think if people are reading the Law of Attraction and the whole thing with The Secret that came out, I think was a good thing, because that is aspects of magical theory and practice kind of brought down to a smaller, simpler level. I mean, you can go into high magic, which is, I'm fascinated by high magic. I don't know if I have the patience. I love to study. I think I've said that a million times. I'm a studier. If I could spend my entire life in a library just researching any whim of a topic that came up in my head, which is part of my problem. On one thing, I go down the rabbit hole. You find out one thing I'm studying, and then you see this, and oh, what about that? So yeah, that's my problem, is reining myself in to keep focused on something. But if I really want it, I can do it, and I have done it. But it's a lot of work, and for people to think, oh, it's not. It's a lot of work. If you want to have a magical life and you want to affect change in your everyday life and mold your life through intent and magic, you need to be focused and you need to be dedicated to that. And it very, very easily we get swept up in life and every single day, minor little things that you have to do. But in those things, you can get distracted. My quickest magic was always, like I said, surrendering. Let it go. This is what I want. I need help. I don't know what to do. And I know calling on the goddesses, the gods, whatever your belief, if you want to call it the universe, whatever, saying what you need and saying, I'm leaving, so motivated, I'm leaving it to you. I need help right now. And always, I've never not received assistance. It may not come in the way I would have planned it or thought about it, but if it's been something I really need, it is an idea, it's instant, it's call this person. Look on this, go to the internet and search this. One words will come up in my head, and then I take that word and I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to do something with this. And then when you have that faith and that surrender and you're just open to whatever the solution is going to be to get you out of the situation, every single thing falls in place without any effort. People call you. If you need paperwork, and normally you would think, oh my, if you really thought about it, I have to do this, just do it, and there is no obstacles. Everything seems to melt. Pieces, it's like a jigsaw puzzle that all come into place. When magic is working like that, it is, when you look back and you look at what happened, you'll be like, how did that happen? Like every single person, there is no effort. There is someone that is going to be on your team. People just come into your life and you don't even know how they are there, but they're there, and they mention something, and it's amazing. So that's where I've had my most success, is letting go and handling it. So I guess I'm going around and around. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, I do believe tarot is predictive. Now, because it's predictive, I am, what is that? I don't know what the phrase is now. I can't remember. Forewarned is forearmed or something like that. That's the way I look at it. Like, perfect example, freaking Mercury in retrograde. Everybody knows about Mercury in retrograde, at least if you're in a magical kind of community. But there's a lot of everyday people that, just through astrology, and they hear about it, and so they pretty much know about it. And that's another thing that I'm starting to look into, astrology, because that's always fascinated me. And I've always thought, oh, too complicated for me. But you know what? Nothing. Why not? Why not try it? Do something. I like I said, learning and experiencing things, and it may go nowhere or it may go somewhere. But again, Mercury in retrograde, there's lots of aspects to that, even from an astrology point of view. I can go into much more detail about, what house you're in is, what planet it is, and what's going on at the time of the Mercury retrograde, how that's going to affect your sign. All fascinating, all true. And all I can say is, there is so much more to life and experiencing life than just the everyday toils. And I think what is, to me, the most amazing, wonderful thing about tarot, any sort of magical tool, and that's my perspective. You're going to get people that say, oh, I use it for, inner work and shadow, and don't even want to think about, fine, if that's the way you want to do it, great, but for me, that's not me. I'm a witch. I use every single thing, and when I find myself, I'm at the worst and stress, it's because I'm trying to do it on my own, or I get lost in the daily grind of doing the things you have to do to survive, your job, your family, your everything. Your days fly by. Before you know it, it's all over, and all you've done is chores, work, eaten, and you go to bed, and it repeats it. That is not living. That's not life. It's part of life, because we all have to do it. But if you get yourself into that daily grind then you're losing life. And I think magic can make your life exciting because you do have a little bit, not a little, like I said, it all depends on the degree in which you can manipulate your life. If you are conscious and in your moment every single day, and you're focusing on what you want and where you want your life, your day, everything to go, then that's magic, and that's a great life, because you are maneuvering through the everyday drudge, and your life becomes alive. You experience every single moment, and as you're experiencing it, you're changing it or directing your future. You can take a bad day. You can have a bad day. You can start your day off. And this was in The Secret too, which I think is a very, very good point. Things are going to happen to you, but it's not what those things are. It is your reaction. Now, if you know those things are going to happen to you, then you're a little prepared. Oh, you know what? Look at this. This month is going to be challenging. Let's get some stuff coming down. Now, do I just say, oh no, that's how everything's going to go? No. So this is, well, what do I need to do? If this is going to be a Tower month, what do I have to prepare for? What do I have to do for that? I can do spells to help enlighten and guide me during a Tower month, if the Tower's coming. Any sort of card that you pull for a month or a day, even daily. I mean, I do daily readings. To me, that's just when I have a year ahead spread, and whatever the card of the month is going, or is, and then you get your daily cards that you read. You can see, well, this is, and I always do like morning, noon, evening. My 3 cards are more like, this is where it's going, this is where it's ending, this is where it can be ending. I use that to really get myself, and if I can see like it's going to be stressful, I can prepare myself for that. I can make sure that I'm doing stress leaving techniques, that I take the 5 minutes to focus when something happens at work or something blows up. I am in the moment. I'm like, okay, this is happening. I can prepare myself by having my stress relief herbal tea ready. Whatever it is that you have to do. But most of it is keeping your mindset, to keep yourself from going down that hole where it gets worse and worse and worse because you're reacting to it and you're not moving with it. If there's resistance, you're going to get, it's not going to go well if you resist it. So like I said, bad things are going to happen. It's not that the bad things are happening. It's how you react to them, and how you react to them now is going to make your tomorrow and maneuver it. You can take something, a bad situation, and make something great out of it, you know. So yeah, that whole thing, get lemons, make lemonade, or it's all on that. Those little sayings, there's a reason why those folk sayings are little things are, you know, from years ago. Any kind of like phrase that your parents used to say, and even things from the Bible. It's all on, they were all to get you through and connect you to this life and how to live it. I look at it like the Bible and any sort of religious text is how to maneuver through life. You're here, and we forget who we are. We forget about our soul, our spark, that we're connected to the universe, that we are beings that are far more than these bodies. And we get hints of that all the time, but it's hard to stay focused and know who you are. I think we do choose to come here. I think the problem is once you're here, you forget that. You forget who you are. And part of our journey is remembering that and maneuvering through life. And I think maybe there's sometimes you get to the end of one life and you think, oh, look at me, I forgot, I couldn't do it. I think, you know, I came out to do something and I haven't done it, and I think that's why sometimes past life regret. You can relive and redo the same mistakes, and that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to experience and grow. And a lot of that entails overcoming things, but a lot of it, I believe, is remembering who you are and the power you have, and not to get swept up in the everyday challenges and trials, and to use that inner spirit spark to maneuver through life and have an amazing and great life. I am definitely a much richer person, emotionally, physically, financially, because of my magic. And like I said, it's what you need to do. What you need to do when you first start. There are a lot of, they say you got to have this, you got to have that. I never got too caught up in that. I always did what I felt was right. And there's some people that need that structure and need that, and that's great too. And there's also some people, like I said, that they don't believe in magic, and they think it's bad, evil. But there was a ton of magic in the Bible. I mean, Jesus was, the three wise men were seers, were astrologers, they read the stars. They were magical kind of beings, people. They were not just everyday, stuck in the world people. That's why they found him. Just saying. And the simple people too. I mean, that's why the angels came to the shepherds. I think people that are connected to the earth, the land, and the farming, and taking care of they're very in touch, because it's very dependent on so many things to grow or raise livestock, or but anyways, I think it's not a coincidence that every single court had a magician, had a seer in their court. I think we kind of lost that, because that was looked at and demonized, put under the realm of the devil, and that's basically was just done by man in order to control people. If the masses can say or change their realities without you, or come out from and improve their lives in such a way that can actually overthrow governments and churches and people of power, then why would you want them to figure that out? When you start to fear the mage has more power than you, then you can start to get rid of them, and you'll call them anything to persecute them and burn them and get rid of them and keep things in this base, earthbound reality. Which is why I love the movie The Matrix, because in a way, I think that is what it is. There are people that do want to just, take the red pill or the blue pill, and whichever pill you want to take is really says a lot about you. Because sometimes it is easier just to go along and think you have no control. Having any kind of control means you have to take responsibility for what's going on in your life, and not to say, oh wow, that happened, what was I supposed to do, and oh, woe is me. So it's easy to be the victim. It's easy to say, oh, this happened. We love to blame others. It's very difficult to blame yourself or take responsibility. Like, it might have been that choice you made over there that brought you here. But you know what? Now that you're here, you can do something. You can change your life. And but like I said, it's not easy. It's work. It's accountability. So anything that helps me do that, including magic, tarot, astrology, palm reading, being connected to the Fae, or looking into the Fae. I guess that's my take on it. I just wanted to say a few words on that, because I think it's something that I've experienced, like I said, with that family member. I'm still not at the point where I could say, oh yeah, I'm going to tell other people, because there's the problem. How it depends so much on that person, and me trying to figure out whether they can hear what I need to tell them, or believe, you know, it's going to make a difference, then yeah, for me, that's where I am. But as for me personally, in my work in tarot and what I use tarot for, yeah, I would rather be forewarned. I want to know what's coming. I think that's, you know, I want to be building the ark if the flood's coming. I don't want to be sitting around watching the water rise with no way, you know, well, and then trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So that's the way I look at it. Like I said, is it predictive? Yes. These things, is it telling you the future? Sure. But I don't believe it's a set future. And the reason why it's not set is because you can change it with your magic. So yeah, that was just a few words on that. I did want to just go over one thing. I'm going to make another video later, just on some books that I'm kind of reading for this month and last month. But I did just want to go over something that I find really useful, and that is the Llewellyn's Witch's Date Book. I had the one from last year. I love this thing. I write in it and color the little pictures sometimes when I'm bored. But this is a great book. If you want to do any sort of magic, it's got a lot of great articles, and it tells you how to use it. It's got the planets, the signs, any kind of sort of magic, or you know, astrology or anything. It's a great tool. And look at this. Is this not perfect? Retrograde. Everybody should know about them. And it tells you on the calendar in the book when they're coming, when they end. I did learn a little bit more about them on my own. That, you know, there's a 2-week shadow. There's a 2-week shadow. And this is a goddess that I've always been afraid of. And I'm like, wow, maybe this is a sign you should start looking into this. I'm not really one. I think that's probably just because my Catholic background holds me back on anything that says dark goddess. But so you can tell you, it goes like there's the full moon during the month. It'll tell you full moon in Scorpio, full moon in Sagittarius. It's really, really great. There's plants, there's spells, like there's cool artwork. Every little, there's a little saying on each one. They'll tell you what the color of the day is, the signs, what's going on today. I just love this book. This date book has been the best. It's got notes so you can write in the back. So yeah, I just wanted to, I don't know if everyone's aware of it, but for me, this is huge in my magical practice. I can really get an idea of where each day is going, where the planets are, where the signs are. It's a jumping off point. I like to say that a lot on a lot of my stuff. But I just, you know, and then of course I do jot my everyday life stuff in this, but it's also great for jotting down my cards of the day, or just where I'm thinking, to say, oh yeah, this is what's going on. So I'm sure people have heard of it, but if not, I just thought I'd give it a shout out because it's something that I use and I really enjoy using. And yeah, so I really do appreciate your time and that you've spent with me, and I will be back later, probably with I'm hoping a couple more videos today. I'm going to see how it goes. Who knows? My hockey team is playing later today, my Boston Bruins, yay. So it's an early game. So we'll see how that goes. I'm getting another video in, but I hope this finds you well. I hope you didn't mind the rambling. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that. I love Mary Farron, Mary Grace, and so I can definitely understand where she's coming from, but on the same, I just have a different feeling about it. So yeah, again, appreciate your watching. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and have a blessed day. Bye.